Don't forget the doc. Several network participants recently called into Dr. Rick Wright's Old School Sundays radio show. Check this out.
Hello, I'm Melissa Younger. I'm a graduate student at the Newhouse School of Communications. I also did my undergrad there in broadcast journalism, so I'm spending the afternoon with Dr. Wright.
And please.
Hi, I'm Anjali Tavares, but everybody calls me Angie, and I'm an undergrad student at Syracuse University. I'm a junior, and my major is television, radio, and film.
Well, Angie and Melissa, as thousands of people have an opportunity to enjoy your abilities to communicate in the world of radio broadcasting on this wonderful Sunday afternoon, we have on the phone one of the world's greatest public relations experts. We allowed you a little bit of pre-assessment interview time with him, but we told you that he is a superstar in the world of public relations. He's worked with some of the giants of the entertainment industry. So I told you to prepare an interview with him. So Melissa or Angie, it's showtime on the 4 o'clock Funk Hour with Dr. Rick Wright. The microphones are yours.
Hello, Mr. Donald. Can you just please introduce yourself?
And all those listening online, my name is Donald Singletary.
Can you please tell us what company you work for?
Okay, I have my own independent consulting firm. It's called Appley Singletary and Associates.
Okay, so what do you do at this company, at your own company?
Okay, we provide a range of public relations, marketing, and advertising services to clients. That can include anything from media relations to strategic planning, corporate communications, editorial projects, creative concepts, pretty much a full range.
Oh, okay. Do you use any of your skills to teach at any universities?
Yes, in fact. I teach currently at 2 here in New York City. I teach at NYU, and I also teach at Baruch College, which is part of the City University system. And once upon a time, I taught at Syracuse University, Newhouse School of Communications.
What did you teach at Syracuse?
Public relations.
Oh, okay. Where did you do your undergrad?
Sarah Lawrence College. That's in Bronxville, New York. And I did my graduate studies at the New School for Social Research. And I got my graduate degree in media studies.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're from New York City.
I am born and raised in New York City, yes.
So am I.
Okay.
How did you get from journalism to public relations?
Interestingly, a lot of people in my generation start out as journalists. I had worked part-time in newspapers. I had several internships, including one at the Washington Post Watergate Summer. I was chosen one of, I believe it was 25 students from across the country to work there that summer. So I worked there. And previous to that, I had worked at papers in Jersey City. In fact, that's a Newhouse paper, the Jersey Journal in Jersey City. And I'd worked at radio. I actually started in radio at WINS Radio, the all-news station here in New York City. So I've been around in journalism, and the skills are very applicable to public relations, knowing news judgment, knowing how to communicate effectively in a variety of ways, writing, speaking, etc., being comfortable in different types of audiences, good, clear analytical thinking. So those are all applicable skills to public relations.
All right, Mr. Singletary, let's talk a little bit about what you do now.
Hey, what's your name?
I'm Melissa Younger. Again, let me reintroduce myself.
Okay.
So, Mr. Singletary, let me get into my question for you. You own your own company now, so I'm assuming you might wear a few different hats. I guess, what's the most interesting part about your job?
Well, I think if you have any client that's got interesting work for you, I generally do most of the work myself. I have some consultants that I pull in generally on contract basis. So a lot of it is me. And I think any client that allows you to use your own creative process and that allows you to do what you're there for, to consult and to advise. You know, people have financial analysts, they have legal counsel, and they don't always understand that's what public relations people should be in that same role. As one of my former Syracuse students said when he lectured in my class, he tells his clients, look, you wouldn't tell your accountant how to do your books or your doctor what type of medicine to subscribe, so allow your public relations person to give you that type of advice with their expertise. I also enjoy working for any type of organization or individual or a program that's involved with doing some public good that will impact public policy and improve lives of other people.
Okay, well, it sounds like you do a lot there, and I know taking advice is something that a lot of people struggle with, no matter how old you are or where you're from. Can you tell me probably about the most difficult experience you've had giving someone advice or serving as a consultant?
Tons. I could probably say, though, the most difficult was the places I've worked as a full-time employee. Some people don't understand just what I described to you, the role that public relations people have to play. And it gets to the point where we have to really build a case as to why you should do something. I'll give you an example. When to release information. and how much information to release. Some organizations, if something bad or negative happens, they want to right away not say anything to the media. Well, you've got to make it public. You've got to tell people your side of the story. I often had fights with lawyers. Our own legal counsel would say, well, you can't say that. It's a legal mess. Well, in a court of public opinion that I'm involved in, we have to go to people now and explain our side of the story, even if it looks bad.
Well, I guess that makes sense. And since you're one of the leading experts on PR, I talked to you earlier in the pre-screen, and we were talking about how you did some work with Planned Parenthood, and that's been controversial. Can you just fill in the viewers about, your experiences at Planned Parenthood and why it was so controversial?
Sure, I did 2 tours of duty there. I was the Director of Media Relations for the National Office of Planned Parenthood with all of its, I guess there's over 100 affiliates now. And I was also Vice President of Planned Parenthood of New York City. And it's controversial simply because the issue of abortion has always been controversial, a woman's right to choose when or whether to have a child. And albeit that's a very small part of Planned Parenthood's overall mission, because that's probably less than 20% of what they do. Basically, it's providing health care services to women and now also to men, doing counseling and providing a range of educational services, particularly in areas of sexuality education. But at the time that I joined in the late 80s, the issue had heated up quite a bit in legislative arenas and also in the streets. There were lots of demonstrations in clinics, a lot of violence and attempted violence against clinics and Planned Parenthood staff and practitioners. So it was really intense. And we had excellent, dedicated people who believed in protecting the health and rights of women. So it was very inspiring to be there, despite the fact that it was at the time always stressful and at the time actually dangerous.
Oh, wow, that sounds very interesting. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Well, Mr. Donald Singletary from New York City, Angie and Melissa. Now, Donald, before I let you go, we lost a giant in the entertainment industry this week.
Yeah, Rick, a real bona fide PR giant, unlike me, who can proudly play one on your show. But here's a woman named Ruth Bowen. You may or may not have heard of. Ruth Bowen was probably the pioneering booking agent and publicist, certainly of African-American communities, and one of the few women who ever did that. She passed away this past Tuesday at age 84. And she, for over 6 decades, guided careers of people like Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, Sammy Davis Jr., people like that. Her first husband, William Bowen, was one of the original Ink Spots. You remember the Ink Spots?
Oh, yes.
Now, that was her first husband, and it was through her husband's introduction that Ruth Bowen went on to manage the career of Dinah Washington, who was then called the Queen of the Blues back then. And it was Dinah Washington, oddly enough, who suggested to Bowen, she said, look, you've got to go get your own booking license. And she did that in 1959, which was unheard of for women or black people. And she did it with, who fought that battle for was a young attorney named David Dinkins.
Oh,
went on to become
the
the first black mayor of New York City. Yeah.
What a story.
She later expanded and became what became the Queen Booking Corporation. It was the largest black-owned entertainment agency in the United States.
Hey, Donald.
Yeah.
You mentioned Diana Washington.
Yeah.
Here's a Dr. Rick Wright story, compliments of the family. My Aunt Louise, I always told you about, who lived up on 140th and 8th Avenue, her last location.
Yeah.
She used to hang out with Diana Washington, man.
No kidding.
And they walked into the Baby Grand on 125th Street back in the 1950s, man. And I wish a camera was rolling, man.
And a tape recorder.
Because Diana Washington walked in with my Aunt Louise Lassiter, man, on 125th Street, the Baby Grand. And she walked in with this fur coat on and got at the door and just simply said, ladies and gentlemen, I am here. I am Miss D, Diana Washington. And will somebody please get me a chair at the bar and a drink by the time I get over there? If not, I'm going to get it to your face. Oh, she was something else, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah, that Baby Grand was a landmark. In fact, the head bartender of the Baby Grand lived down the hall from me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Nat Wynn, originally from Wilson, North Carolina.
Oh,
lived down the hall from me.
Nat Wynn from Wilson, North Carolina.
You know, the thing about Ruth Bowen, there are other black women who have gone on to do some fabulous things in public relations. A woman named Selva Hayes, who here in New York is a very well-known publicist. In fact, she's a good friend of Diane Carroll.
Okay.
Who is my cousin, by the way. Diane's mother is from my father's hometown in Bladenboro, North Carolina.
Hey, I tell you, you're famous, man. Well, look, Donald, it's the 4 o'clock funk hour, and I'm sure everybody's got enough. They don't never have enough information and education, but let's give them some music, man. Let's give them some funk, man. Let me bring on the godfather of soul, James Brown.
Okay, Mr. Brown.
All right, so get to all the Syracuse University alums throughout the world. Checking out Dr. Rick Wright, Power 106.9 Old School Sunday. On a big bad Sunday afternoon, Dr. Rick Wright live and well in Syracuse here at Power 106.9 Radio. Do it.
The network reminds you that you too may call in to Dr. Rick Wright on Sundays between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check in with the doc at area code 315-428-1069. Don't forget the doc.